Estuary News tonight, new positions for two of our MPs, a prayer labyrinth in Hull and the greater good of the Driffield show. And later in tonight's programme I'll be talking to Liz McTernan on conquering the Ironman. Before that, it's a case of true love with songstress Chloey Rose. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Wednesday's programme with me, Luke Adams. First tonight, two of our local MPs have been handed new positions in Parliament. The MP for Hull North, Diana Johnson, has been appointed to the Health Select Committee. The appointment follows her successful campaign lobbying the government to launch an inquiry into the contaminated blood scandal during the 70s and 80s. Her role will scrutinise government policy along with a panel of MPs. It follows the news yesterday that the MP for Great Grimsby, Melanie On, has been elected to chair the All-Parliamentary Group for Fisheries. She was elected by fellow MPs and said her new role will give her a better chance to fight for Grimsby's seafood industry. The 142nd Driffield show has been taking place today in the East Yorkshire town. The popular event is a key part of the rural calendar and brings in people to the county from all over the country. Dan Kemp has been along.
The Driffield show is the largest one-day country show in the UK and is now in its 142nd year. Around 25,000 punters came through the gates of the Driffield Showground today, making it amongst the most popular days out of the summer. The event showcases rural life in East Yorkshire and features equine displays and food and drink stalls. Councillor Paul Rounding is the mayor of Driffield and says the whole town turns out.
Well, the build up to it for a long time. The children participate in all the craft shows and things like that. The local farmers are eating just for farming community, but everybody's getting involved really, and if you have an opportunity, growers, pigeon fanciers, everybody's here really, the old town. I mean, everybody you talk to when you say you're from Driffield,
restrictions are set to be imposed in Bridlington. It comes after the Humberside Fire and Rescue Service and East Riding Council made a request to allow better access for firefighters attending incidents at Ferndale Terrace and the neighbouring Ebor House flats. No parking or loading restrictions will be implemented at the entrance to the terrace to prevent parked cars blocking access to emergency vehicles. Drivers will be notified of the new regulations via new signs to be installed soon. A fortress built for King Henry VIII has been rediscovered today. It was built near to the east bank of the River Hull in the mid-16th century as part of new defences commissioned by the King. The Humberfield archaeology team marked out the lines of its buried walls today, along with pupils from the Victoria Dock Primary School. The fortress has been earmarked as a potential visitor attraction as part of the Hull Old Town Heritage Action Zone. Excavations on the south blockhouse walls are set to take place in September. Part of a prayer labyrinth that was demolished on the outskirts of Hull nearly 500 years ago is being recreated on Kingswood. The ancient village of Marfleet in East Hull had a prayer labyrinth until the mid-19th century. Now the Reverend Ben Norton, pioneer minister for the estate, is using part of the original design in a new prayer labyrinth to be built between the estate of Kingswood and Bransholme. It'll make up part of a new green space for the area at a cost of £100,000, which Ben hopes will engage the community better than a church could.
Well, we've been here 2 years now and we've come to the conclusion that, yeah, we could probably build a building, but let's be honest, people are very busy nowadays and Sunday morning isn't always where it's at. So if we built a church, maybe nobody would come to it. So we decided to be more creative with where we put our energies and our time and our resources. So we came up with the idea.
Technical issues experienced during that VT. We are having some issues in tonight's programme. But now time for a chat with my first guest this evening, songstress Chloey Rose. It's a case of true love.
Oh yes, I'm very excited to tell you all about it.
Welcome back to the programme, Chloey. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. You last appeared on the sofa with Hugh back in February,
yes,
talking about your debut single, Golden Dreams. And now you're back again, so well done on releasing your second single. It was released on the 14th of July.
That's it, yeah.
Hot off the press.
Oh yeah, it's doing very well. It's got loads of radio play at the moment.
Excellent.
Yeah, Links FM. I think it's on Compass FM, BBC Radio Lincolnshire. It's a track of the week.
Fantastic.
As well on that,
so the
good.
message is getting out there.
Yeah, it's just getting people to hear you, really, isn't it? That's the key. But
is that the hard thing you find about being an unsigned singer-songwriter?
Yeah, because nobody really knows you're there, so you have to try, make your connections and network with different people and just keep performing, really. That's all I'd say to people that want to do the same thing.
Okay, good advice. Good advice. Now, Sweetheart, True Love is the title of this second single.
Yeah.
First of all, where did the inspiration come from for this new song?
The inspiration came from, well, when I start writing songs, I usually write about what I've experienced or stories that I've heard, and I always write a bit dramatic, Okay. And this song's quite dramatic. But yeah, it's sort of about breaking free from a relationship that wasn't good and coming out of that and flying in a way. A bit dramatic, a bit corny, but
absolutely. But we like the message what the song's trying to
that's
create.
it,
so
yeah.
It gives a sense of freedom and liberation.
Yeah. I'm so excited for everyone to hear it as well. So.
Fantastic. So available now on
Google
where
Play.
can people get hold of the song?
Yeah, it's from iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon. You can even get it on SoundCloud as well.
Okay. And like you said, it's been very well received by various platforms, including our very good friends here at Estuary TV News.
Yeah.
What would you say you've learned since your first single, Golden Dreams, to True Love now? Have you developed any sort of new musical styles, or has there been any major influences? Is it a kind of shift in genre from the first single, would you say?
I'd say it's sort of a similar kind of genre. Between the two singles, I did also do a collaboration on a dance track, which is very different for me. But this music it's the same kind of powerful ballad.
Okay.
But I take my influences from acts such as Kate Bush. She's amazing. She's very quirky. She's quite out there. And at the time when she was first out, a few eras ago, was it a few eras ago?
The sublime Kate Bush. I mean, like you say, she's very quirky.
Yes, she is.
And she released one of my favourite tracks back in the 80s, Running Up That Hill.
Oh my gosh, that's my favourite song.
Fantastic. We have something in common at least. It's a great track. Aside from Kate Bush, who else would you say your musical influences are?
I love Lana Del Rey.
Okay, so quite a modern singer.
Modern singer. And then there's Ben Howard as well. He's fantastic. He's got like a great voice and he's really passionate. I love that about him.
So that's interesting that you said that male singers also influence your
music as well. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I believe you're going to be doing some touring later in the year, starting off at Market Race and Racecourse.
Yes, Ladies' Day.
2nd of July. And People's Park in Grimsby on the 21st of October.
Yeah.
And then culminating at the Grimsby Auditorium on New Year's Eve.
Oh, I'm so excited about it.
How did all these dates, these performances come about?
I think I just kept performing, and just people would come up to me and say, "Would you like to perform here?" And it's great, it honestly is. And that's the key, really, just to perform anywhere and get your music out there. And it's good to showcase new music as well.
And I suppose as well, Chloe, that helps you, have a relationship with the fans at that very direct level, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was really good because I recently did Princess Key in the shopping centre, and a few of the fans got to know me from that, and they were like, "Oh, I really liked your song," and then they bought it from there. And yeah, it is good to get a new fan base, so just to keep performing.
Chloe, would you say you've got a fan base across the board? Who would you say your music specifically appeals to, or is it right across the board?
I'd say it's all over the place, really. Probably 18 to, it could be right up to sort of 50s, 60s. I suppose, like Adele, she's that type of music range, sort of her audience, and Amy Winehouse is sort of audience as well.
One of my favourite singers.
She's got the most fantastic voice, hasn't she?
Very tragic what happened to Amy, unfortunately, all those years ago. You're an unsigned singer-songwriter, as we said earlier. What would you say makes a great singer?
I'd say somebody that can really show the passion in the song, get the words really across. I think to write something that will influence people, that will make a difference, I think that's the key. And then when you're on stage as well, be able to sort of really present yourself really well. Yeah, I'd say that.
Great advice, Chloey, great advice. And where would you like to see yourself in, let's say, 10 years' time?
Oh gosh, I tell you, you might think this is crazy, but I'd love to be a recording artist all over the world, travel the world, do tour. I mean, you've got to dream, even if it never happens.
No, it's great to have dreams, and dreams can often come true.
That's
can't
it.
they?
Yeah.
What would you say is the best piece of advice you would give to any aspiring singer? Because you've released 2, well, very successful Golden Dreams,
Yeah.
and I hope True Love is also a success. So what advice would you give to an aspiring singer?
Yeah, I'd just say keep performing, BBC Introducing, upload on here, and then places like Estuary News that are going to help support local artists. You know, places like this really are great. So keep performing, just go for it. If you're passionate about it, if you keep consistently working hard, you can do it.
Chloey, I couldn't have put it better myself. All the best with the new single. Thank you very much for coming in to the show this evening. Lovely to see you again.
And you too.
Still to come on Estuary News this Wednesday evening, some big questions from little people. And I'll be bringing you all the latest news from the world of sport, plus Liz McTernan on her Ironman challenge. Welcome back to Estuary News. Still to come this Wednesday evening, I'll be talking to Liz McTernan on her Ironman challenge and all the latest sports news. A new play is set to open its doors in Hull. Sebastian is based on Tennessee Williams' Suddenly Last Summer and tells the story of a mother's love for her son and a young girl's betrayal set in a subtropical garden in South Tennessee. It's written by local playwright Richard Green and stars esteemed actress Georgina Garten as one of the lead roles, along with Bethany Conyers. We'll bring you that full story in tomorrow's show. Now, I'm joined on the server by my second guest this evening, Liz McTernan, who has just returned from New York City, competing in the New York City Triathlon.
That's right.
Good evening, Liz. Welcome to the programme. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
My first question, the concerned interviewer that I am, have you recovered from jet lag?
No, definitely not, because the flight was an overnight flight. So, yes, yesterday was a bit manic and then today is interesting, but it's okay.
Well, thank you for making the effort to come in
That's
to the
fine,
programme.
thanks. Nice
Tell
to be
me
here.
how the last few days have gone in New York Festival.
Well, it's the third time that I've done the New York City Triathlon, and last year I was overall winner, and this year I was also overall winner in the female, over all the females. And I set a new course record, so I'm really pleased. It's not normally the distance that I race at.
Okay, so what was the new record, what you set?
It's a time record. So it's the only para-triathlon race in the world where they actually use a PAR system.
Right.
So they have a course record for each of our categories, and there's 5 categories. I'm PT1, or the old PT1, I think it's called PTWC now. Wheelchair users, basically.
Right, okay.
And so they have a par time for each category, and the nearer you come when you finish to that par time, to the course record, the more par points you have.
Right.
And then obviously that's how they sort out first, second and third male, first, second and third female. So rather pleased with that.
Quite rightly so.
Thanks.
Well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What medals have you brought along to the programme this evening?
Ooh,
Some of what you've won over the course of the last few days?
Yes, the one that I've won over the last few days is I've got the trophy here.
Let's have a look, Liz. Thank you very much. So this
And
is what
then
you've just won, hot off the press.
Hot off the press, and they've just
Excellent.
emailed me to say my prize money is coming.
Fantastic.
And then everyone gets the finisher's medal, which is rather humongous.
Okay.
But
great to add to your
I've
existing collection.
got a few.
Brilliant.
Yes. I've got
Was
a
there a lot of
few.
people you was competing against in the challenge?
Do you know, I haven't looked at the results, so I think there were about 20 of us, male and female.
And is this from across the world?
There were a couple of Canadians. I was the only Brit. Most were Americans. Last year there were more international athletes, but Challenged Athlete Foundation offer grants, but they could only offer 9 grants this year.
Fantastic.
So that you can afford to go over.
Excellent. So what does it mean to have this opportunity to have competed in this event?
Well, for me it's a practice event, a practice race, because it's only a quarter of the distance of an Ironman. But it allows me to just practice a little bit of race nutrition, a bit of strategies, how I transfer from each item of equipment, that kind of thing.
So this will be building you up nicely for the Ironman Challenge,
yes,
which is taking place in Hawaii in October.
That's right, 14th of October.
14th of October. So, you've got to raise around £14,000, is that correct?
Yes, what I'm trying to do is get a new bike. Because in Kona, there's only one woman that's actually finished the race in my category, in the wheelchair race, using a hand cycle and a racing wheelchair. Because the bike course is 112 miles, 180 190 kilometres. So it's a very long course, and it's affected by wind a lot, and it's also hilly. Yeah. Yes, and it's very hot. So I would like to get a new more aerodynamic bike, and there's a carbon bike made in the USA called carbonbike.usa that is the best bike in the world, basically.
And does it set us back quite a bit in monetary figures?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And is that area chosen because of the challenges what are ahead, like you said, the hilliness and
definitely.
Hot weather?
The bike I have now is aluminium. So although it was a custom fork and a custom frame, being shorter because I'm quite petite, hasn't got a base to it. It's open. So and the fork is different. The aerodynamic bike literally has one stay on the front, so the wind doesn't cut through so much. Then it has a shape on the bottom, and then almost like a foil on the back. Okay. So it will make me 1 to 2 kilometres per hour faster.
Fantastic. Now, Liz, do you see yourself as an inspiration to other fellow disabled athletes out there?
I hope I can encourage other people that despite having an acquired disability that I got later in life, it doesn't really matter. You can still find a sport that you love, get fit and healthy, stay fit and healthy.
Just have that dedication and passion. You are clearly passionate.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely, if I had to choose, and I usually do just paracycling would be the one that I'm going to stay with for life. Okay. The swim, I love swimming. The wheelchair racing is very difficult for me because I have a weaker left arm, and it shows up more on the racing wheelchair. Okay. But I love the bike. And
I'm sure you're proud to represent the area of Lincolnshire where you were born and bred.
Definitely, although I wasn't born and bred in Lincolnshire. I've lived here for 13 years.
Okay.
My children were brought up here.
Okay. Fantastic. Liz, if people want to donate to your efforts for the Ironman World Championships in October, how can they do that?
I have a crowdfunding page.
Okay.
So I'm under Liz McTernan Hand Cycling Triathlete, and that details what I've done, what I've achieved so far, and what I'm aiming to achieve. I also have a Facebook page, an athlete Facebook page that's public. My own is private because it's friends and family only.
Sure.
And that's Liz McTernan Hand Cycling at Hand Cycling.
So lots of ways for people to get in touch. I wish you all the best. Please come back and see us soon. Thank you very much for coming to the programme this Wednesday evening.
Thank you very much.
Now it's time for all the latest sports news. Ahmed El Mohammadi has today left Hull City. The Egyptian fullback has signed a 3-year deal with Aston Villa, where he'll work under former City boss Steve Bruce. Meanwhile, the Tigers have officially confirmed the signing of striker Fraser Campbell from Crystal Palace on a free transfer. Campbell has signed a 2-year deal with the club. He says he's delighted to be a Tiger again and can't wait to get started. According to National Report, City are set to complete another signing imminently. Liverpool midfielder Kevin Stewart has left their pre-season tour of Hong Kong in order to have talks over a move to the Tigers. A fee is said to be agreed with the Merseysiders that could rise up to £8 million. There's also been one more confirmed outgoing and one set to be confirmed at the KCOM too. Goalkeeper Eldon Yahamovic has completed a move to Leicester City for an undisclosed fee. He joined the club in 2012 and went on to make 55 appearances. Meanwhile, left-back Andy Robertson is set to undergo a medical ahead of a £10 million move to Liverpool. The Scottish international made 99 appearances for City, scoring 3 goals. On the field, Leonid Slutsky's men continued their pre-season preparations last night with a 2-1 win over Bristol Rovers in Albufeira. City won a goal behind against the League One outfit before goals from Ambel and Hernandez, and Jared Bowen in the second half gave them their first win of pre-season. Slutsky says he was angry with his side's first half display, but was happy to achieve his first win in charge. On to Scunthorpe United next. They have completed the signing of Belgian midfielder Funso Ojo. He has signed a 3-year deal after leaving Dutch side Willem II. Ocean has joined up with the team in Austria as their pre-season tour there continues. The Iron played their first game of their Austrian tour last night. They beat Austrian 6th division side SK Strobel 6-0. 6 different goal scorers contributed to United's win, including goals from new signing Cameron Burgess and last season's top goal scorer Josh Morris. Graham Alexander's side next play on Thursday evening when they play SV Austria Salzburg, which will round off their tour of the country. Grimsby Town news now. They still retain a perfect record in pre-season. Last night they beat non-league Bideford 4-0 as part of their tour of Devon. New summer signing Mitch Rose helped himself to a brace, while goals from Adi Yousaf and Scott Vernon capped off the win. Russell Slade's side play again on Thursday when they play Tavistock AFC of the South West Peninsula Premier Division. On to rugby now, and Hull FC skipper Gareth Ellis is set to make his return to the side on Friday for the visit of Huddersfield Giants. It'll be a much welcome return for the Black and Whites, who suffered their 3rd consecutive loss in the Super League last weekend when losing to Leeds Rhinos. Across the city, and Hull KR have signed prop Mosi Mafo from Australian side St George Illawarra Dragons. Massow has signed a short-term deal until the end of the season, subject to international clearance. Head coach Tim Sheen says he hopes to have his new signing available for the weekend's game against Halifax. And that's all for the sport. Apologies for any mispronunciations there. That was quite a challenge. Thank you for being with us this Wednesday evening. Sorry for all the technical difficulty. We hope to have a smoother programme tomorrow.